And get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri, welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. It's now time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Heel and beyond. Here's your host, Rusty Hendricks.
Welcome in. Good Saturday morning to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. You can also check out the free SEMO ESPN app and the podcast page. Check that out as well. We're on Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify. Check all those out. Just search for the SEMO Scramble, and we'll have that up after the show here today. Good show. We got have some great guests here in just a couple of moments. We're going to have O.J. Turner of Saxony Lutheran, the head ball coach there. Their first ever home game at Saxony Lutheran High School in football history. That is pretty cool as a varsity program. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Coming up at 9:15, talking things over with Brian Horrell, the head coach for the Chaffee softball team. Can they make it to state? Can they win state this year? They got a good shot. We're going to talk to him about that. And then coming up at 9:45, it's homecoming day. Parade about to start down here downtown Cape Girardeau, Missouri for SEMO football game today against EIU. They moved it up. If you haven't heard, a noon kick time here today. You can hear the game on our sister station, Real Rock 99.3 with Eric Sean. So talking things over with the athletic director, and in fact, the vice president of intercollegiate athletics, Brady Barke. Could the Red Hawks leave the OVC? We're going to ask him about that. Coming up at 9:45. So a lot to get to today. But first, let's talk with O.J. Turner after a big win last night against Massac County at home, 42-27, getting the victory. And, yeah, riding high here this morning is O.J. How we doing?
We're doing great. We're so excited. Such a big night last night. That's been a long time coming, and it was everything that we expected. It was a pretty dynamic night last night for everybody.
Well, set the scene for us. I mean, what was the atmosphere like there? I mean, I'm sure there was all sorts, a ton of buzz. With all the fans, I'm sure it was packed. Look, I mean, to be able to play there finally on your home turf, it seems like a long time coming, right? And I heard there's a helicopter there before the game that dropped the game ball. I mean, little theatrics as well. So set the scene for us.
They brought the house. So, obviously, sweet spot for me with us playing at SEMO, with me playing there. So I think the kids were so excited to be able to do that originally. But when we were able to actually come home, our own place, finally able to do that, it was quite amazing. Just everything that got done, just the helicopter coming down and dropping a ball. They did such a good job with Ervac, very, very classy. Getting our field painted, it was, really amazing. Our lights are great. This was the first time for us to be able to actually really use our stadium with the amount of fans that came out to celebrate. And then, we dedicated our field, to the Bennett family. So that was a really, really, really cool night. So if you think about just our first entrance into our own home stadium and running through the blow-up and the Ervac and the Bennett Memorial and just the fans, this is what we've been looking for a long time. And for sure, Saxony Lutheran, the fans, everybody delivered. It was a pretty amazing night for everybody.
So okay, Bennett Memorial Stadium, is that what we're calling it, or what?
Absolutely, yes. It's Bennett Memorial Stadium, and it was dedicated last night. So my assistant coach, Ross Bennett.
Are we going to paint like a big tooth on either end zone? I mean, how are we doing that?
What'd you say?
Are we going to paint like a big tooth there on the end zone? Maybe some braces? I don't know. I mean, what?
that would be pretty. That'd be pretty cool. But whole family came in. and just really made it really special for that family and for Saxony to be a part of it. It just made another really cool thing that went on last night for us.
That is very cool. Of course, Ross Bennett of Bennett Dentistry. That's where the tooth reference comes from. But O.J. Turner with us, the head coach for the Saxony Lutheran Crusaders. Again, you look, obviously a ton of anticipation for this game, excitement. Did you kind of have to calm down the boys a little bit before the game? I mean, how do you try to, get this team ready to go and prepared? Because, I mean, I'm sure they were rocking and rolling.
This was a different one for us. They waited so long, and they're young, and the excitement, we just let them have it. We let them have it. We let them enjoy the helicopter and running through the entrance and just really soak that time up. What I tell everybody is like, a lot of schools around here, they had this time, 100 years ago. So for them to be able to have that, our coaching staff said, you guys just eat it up. You take it, you have it, and they did a really good job of that. And then, as soon as it was time to play football, we just refocused them and kind of, got them back into playing. But we really just wanted to take advantage of this one-in-a-lifetime time that we were going to be able to have here at Saxony Lutheran.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's been a little bit of a tough stretch here for you guys playing in your first year. You'd lost 4 straight and able to come back and get the win. I mean, just how proud of you of just the play on the field and what the team was able to do. And look, you jumped on the board early. I mean, that was huge, right? You go up 14-0 early, a couple of big plays, offense and then defense. So how big was that?
It was really needed. It was one of those things where we talked about all week long that we got to protect our home, and now we have a home to protect. So I think the kids took that seriously. And then we really just stressed just playing a full game, just really, less up and downs, but really just kind of push through a full game. And I think with Perryville, we did a great job of just really playing the full game. And I think this game as well is we did a good job of just playing all the way to the end. With the team that we have, you're going to have those up and downs until we get a little bit more experience. But if they can play a full game and fight until the game's completely over, we feel like good things can happen for us.
I do want to go back to the fans as well. I'm just curious. I mean, was there a theme for last night or anything? How was the student section? On the sideline, how much did you notice, or did you even take some time to kind of just look around a little bit and appreciate? I mean, look, when it's all said and done, like you said, years and years down the road, your name and the players' names are going to be there in the record book. Say, hey, this is the first ever game played on this field, for varsity football. So that's got to be special.
It was. I told myself, my wife actually told me is, you take some time before that game starts and just, sit there and look at the fans and make a full circle. And I did. And it was pretty special just to see our fans have supported us so heavily all year long and last year, and they did not disappoint last night. Last night, our bleachers were packed. Our administration talked about, hey, we're going to have to get more bleachers to support the amount of fans that we have. So these are a lot of really good problems that we have. But it was surreal. It was so nice just to make that full circle and look at all the support we have from our fans, from our administration, and just people who support us.
Last thing, and I'll let you go. Final tune-up next week against Redbud, Illinois. And then you look, districts will be starting, and right now you and Charleston fighting for that top spot in districts. Porterville, Hayti, Malden. That is a very tough district, Coach. I've talked about it before. I feel like any of the top 4 teams there in districts could find a way to win that. So how are you guys getting ready for district play?
We're excited. For the last couple of weeks, we want to peak here. We felt like all these last 4 games, even though there's loss, we want to take something from them. We want to have, like last night, it was a win, but we have big stops on defense. We want to get confidence just moving into the end of the season. Offensively wise, we have a lot of things that we throw at our kids, and we can tighten those things up as we come to district. So we're super excited. We're super excited to play post-game, really, a district game, which we didn't do last year with JV. So our whole coaching staff is doing a really good job of peaking these kids with a time that really matters.
Awesome stuff. Again, O.J. Turner of Saxony. Coach, really appreciate the time talking to us a little bit. And, again, just tell us a little bit about what it was like last night at Saxony Lutheran High School on a historic night. So pretty special. So, Coach, enjoy it. Enjoy your weekend, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. And I want to also thank just everybody who supported Saxony through this whole journey, and we appreciate the support.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Take care, bye.
All right, O.J. Turner, good stuff from him for joining us this morning. Again, first time being able to play a true home game. Look, they've been playing at Houck, first varsity season this year, and for them to play at home. And I'll be honest, I kind of was thinking Massac was going to go in there, just kind of looking at their opponents and how they've done. How about Saxony? Good win last night. That was impressive, and obviously the fan and the atmosphere was electric last night. All right, let's get into some other scores and break down some more games last night in Week 8 of the football season before we get to Brian Horrell, the head coach of the Chaffee softball team. All right, last night, Jackson, last home game at the Pit. They defeat Miller Career 65-6. Ho-hum starters in there for just a blink. And last night, getting it done. Jory Toma with another big play, touchdown. Drew Parsons did what he needed to do. Jalen Hampton with a couple of big runs. Again, defense excellent. Jackson just rolling, continues, and you want to see them continue to get better. But it'll be definitely a better game next week against Festus. But as Festus, by the way, got the win against Farmington, a pretty good Farmington, 41-36. 41-36, Festus over Farmington. They were down in that game. They came back, found a way to win. So they are one of the better teams in Class 4. So keep an eye on that. Festus and Jackson next week. But again, Jackson should win. Jackson should definitely win. But anyway, it will be a better opponent next week. All right, how about Poplar Bluff and Kennett? Poplar Bluff getting a victory at home and a good one over Kennett, 34-8. That was kind of a get-right game for them, important for Poplar Bluff. How about Kelly? A home game and over Lutheran St. Charles, a team that has struggled a little bit over the past couple of years, but they look, a team out of St. Louis. They've had success at different times and not a bad program. But Kelly, an impressive win, again, imposing their will. Looking at the score, final 13-6. That tells me Coach Powers and Kelly, they imposed their will and their style won out in the game. That's the type of game they want to win, that low scoring, grind it out, run the football, churn the clock. And Kelly got the win 13-6. Impressive last night. Charleston at East Prairie, good win for them. And again, Charleston coming off, a couple weeks ago, a tough game. That is a good win for them, 41-14 over East Prairie. So Charleston with a victory, they improve and get a little bit better. I mentioned them when the same district as Saxony. Of course, Saxony lost to Charleston earlier this year, but currently Saxony has more points as far as the district goes. So that's a good win, and they'll face Sykeston next week. If Charleston could beat Sykeston, a Class 4 team, then you're talking about you might see Charleston in first place for district. So big game for them coming up next week, Charleston and Sykeston. That's going to be a good one at Sykeston Public School Stadium. How about this one? Perryville at Herculaneum. Boy, I thought Perryville would win. They're coming off a good week, but they fall to Herculaneum. They've been a pretty decent team, a solid team, and scrappy. And in Class 3, I think they're third or fourth in their district. Herculaneum with a 16-13 win over Perryville. So Perryville, a tough loss there. We mentioned Saxony with a 42-27 win over Massac County, Illinois. How about St. Vincent? They have coming off a couple weeks. They haven't played, really, forfeit wins. I think they had an exhibition game last week. They do finally get to play, and they win 44-12 over Grandview. That's a good game. And look, they're healthy. They had some time to work on some things, fine-tune some things, and you could tell they were ready to come out and actually play a football game and get it done over Grandview. What else? How about Sikeston at New Madrid County Central? That's a good win for Sikeston. Yeah, it's a game on paper you should win, yes, but it's a game they needed. 38-18, they get it done. And setting a record there was the quarterback in Pierce Baker. As we look at, I'm trying to look at some of the stats here for passing for Pierce. Let's see. He is towards the top. He's going to be, over 1,600, 1,700 passing yards now? So I think the record was over 1,600 for Pierce, so he's just over that. And able to get the record was Pierce Baker on an impressive night. So again, over 1,600 passing yards, close to 1,700 passing yards is Pierce Baker on the season, averaging about 195 per game. And he had a 400 passing yard game in one contest as well. So again, Pierce Baker and company for Sikeston, good win. Keon Atkins, 150 plus on the ground. He's their top receiver, one of the best receivers in the area. And he was doing it on the ground last night. Charlie Rosano, another big night for him. He's one of the better running backs. He's over 1,000 yards rushing now. But again, Sikeston, a good win for them. They pick up their second of the year. And again, Charleston next week. This was a game I was interested in. I thought Crothersville would roll. They did. But just, man, so impressive what they've been able to churn out and what they've been able to do. 7-1 now and a 48-14 victory over Portageville, spoiling homecoming night there at Portageville. Look, Class 2 District 1 and 48-14. The only loss of the year is against Valley. Their quarterback, Hudgens, 3 for 6, 107 yards, a couple of touchdowns for Crothersville. Listen to this. For the third week in a row, Sammy Bryant, who in my opinion is the leader in the house for the Card Trophy and for the SEMO Ball Player of the Year for football, Sammy Bryant, third week in a row over 300 yards rushing. 27 rushes, unofficially, one of the outlets said 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. So if that's accurate, that's now 1,496 total rushing yards on the season with 20 touchdowns. Sammy Bryant. Are you kidding me? This dude is unbelievable. I'm going to try to get him on the show next week. I would love to talk to him and get his thoughts and what they've been able to do. They're going to take on St. Genevieve next week, which will be a good game. They're a Class 3 school. Right now, Crothersville, along with St. Pius, towards the top there of district play. So they're trying to get a number 1 seed. Crothersville, St. Vincent, New Madrid, Kelly, East Prairie, Jefferson, all in the same district. Dexter at Park Hills. Dexter finally loses a game. They lost 22-21 at Park Hills. Look, that could be a game where it's important for them to learn from, and maybe that'll help them for playoff time. But for them, they had a chance to have back-to-back undefeated seasons during the regular season. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. It could have been the first time ever. They've had a couple of undefeated seasons, including last year, but not back-to-back ones. And it doesn't happen, though. Park Hills finds a way to get it done, 22-21. Coach Jamerson said after the game, just too many mistakes and just didn't make enough plays. Devin Turnbull had another pretty good game, but again, they kind of met their match, and I think it's something they're going to learn from and be better from. But Dexter still impressive season. And this is a game that I was at last night, Cape and Lift for Life. Cape got the win 17-16 against Class 3 team that's the third-ranked team of the state. And you think, okay, whatever, they're Class 3, they should win. Well, this is a really, really good team. A couple of Division I athletes on the squad. And Cape Central, their top quarterback, hurt in the first half. Concussion protocol and Aiden McGuire. Their backup quarterback, he was hurt previously in the week with JV. He was in concussion protocol, Landon Best. So they had to turn to their freshman third-string quarterback to lead them in the second half. Oh, by the way, their top running back was without him for the majority of the second half as well because he was injured. Torrance Murray injured his shoulder, but then he was able to come back for the final drive of the game. He had his shoulder pads off and everything at one point, had ice on his arm, but he came back, gritty performance by him, 60 yards rushing, and he ended up getting a 14-yard touchdown there, final couple of minutes in the football game to put them on top, tie the game at 16-16, and then Joey Charlton with a huge extra point to give them the lead. He had a 41-yard field goal in the football game as well. But the defense was fantastic, a team that was averaging 30 points a game in Live for Life. And Cape Central, again, fighting through injuries. You talk about a team that is snake-bitten with injuries. That's Cape Central. But they are hoping to get a few guys back for districts. And Keyshawn Boyd, who was dressed last night, didn't play, should be back next week against Kennett, at least for some touches. So that is, again, 17-16, a fun game last night with Cape over Live for Life. And that's your Week 8 update here in high school football. We're going to take a break talking to Brian Horrell of Chaffee softball, rather. Coming up next, stay with us, SEMO Scramble. Welcome back in. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. And happen to be joined now on our phone lines with the head softball coach of Chaffee, the Lady Red Devils. And Chaffee having an excellent season. One of the top teams. I believe their last check, they were third or fourth ranked team in the state in Class 2. And Brian Horrell joins us now on our phone line. Brian, how are we doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you with us. Look, it's been a nice little run of Chaffee softball the last couple of years. You won back-to-back district titles, looking for your third straight. Obviously, you've been to state, trying to get over that hump and win it this year. But just talk about the success that you guys have had, and just the year you've had this year, 24-3 record, if that's correct, and fighting here in district play.
Yes, we've laid a foundation the last couple of years. Our community really loves our sports, and we had a group of parents go out and put a lot of time in when these kids were young, and they traveled together on a Red Hots team. So we've laid the foundation the last couple of years, come close to winning the SEMO Conference, couldn't quite break through. And then this year with the big wins over Notre Dame and Jackson, we was able to claim our first SEMO Conference title ever in softball program history. So, that was big for us. But we preach to our girls every day. We don't care who we play, who the opponent is. We try to have a standard that we try to reach. We try to keep it simple for our kids, and we feel good if we reach that standard every day that we'll come out on the good side. Shooting for another district title, but the Kelly Hawks are standing in our way. And if anybody knows anything about softball history,
that's right.
Kelly Hawks program is tremendous, a tremendous run of Final Fours. We're trying to emulate that success. So nothing's going to be easy. We don't look too far ahead. We're looking for a good battle with the Kelly Hawks on Tuesday at 4:30 here in Chaffee. Melanie Hiring and Rhonda Ratledge do a tremendous job with those girls. So we can't look ahead. We just got to try to meet the standard next Tuesday.
You mentioned it, legends there in Kelly are those two. But, yeah, the first ever SEMO Conference Championship, I was going to mention that, and you beat me to it. That's a great accomplishment. You mentioned it a couple of times, getting wins over Notre Dame this year. Again, Jackson as well, 8-1 victory over Jackson this year. You have some great wins on your resume. You played some tough opponents. I think you won. Chaffee had won the SEMO Conference in baseball one year, right? Again, never in softball. So, how important of accomplishment was that, and how important is it to be in the conference with that type of competition to prepare you here this year?
Well, when you have a good group of athletes like we're blessed to have here in Chaffee, it's everything to have great competition. Back in 2001 when the baseball team was able to upset the Blake DeWitt and the Sykeston up there at Capall in the championship, and I believe everybody in the town of Chaffee was up there that night. So we've got a good group of athletes in our girls here, and we look for good competition. We get in the Jackson tournament to start the season, and then midway through the year we go to Jeff City. And we had 4 excellent ball games up there against some big schools. We dropped 2 and won 2, but it was a great learning and great competitive for our schedule. So it's very nice to be in that SEMO Conference where you got some big schools like here locally to play.
I want to ask you about a couple of players that have stood out for your team, that have stepped up, been impressive for you. Who are some players that have stood out for you that really helped lead the team this year?
It starts in the circle with Carly Ann Kasu and Bailey Robertson. She's a tremendous pitcher as well. And then we're blessed to have a third one in sophomore Jersey Lynn. She's had an outstanding season. She threw a perfect game this year against Cape Central. But, Carly in the circle, and then Bailey Robertson at shortstop kind of holds us together infield-wise. But I got to give a shout-out to Jocelyn Hanlon, too, behind the plate. She has really stepped up this year as a catcher, and she's having a tremendous season offensively. So, somebody seems to step up every day on our team, and, we really preach family and trying to meet the standard that we set, and we have a tremendous group of girls that do that for us.
You mentioned the players that you mentioned, all of them underclassmen, only the 2 seniors on the roster. So this team's going to be ready to go again next year as well. But, Coach, look, I've mentioned about getting back to state. I mean, yes, I know Kelly, and we'll talk about that matchup here in just a moment. You got to get past them first. But I do want to look ahead just for a moment. You made it to state in 2023, picked up second, picked up third place last year. What will it take for you to get back to state and find a way to win it all this year? I mean, how determined is this team to do that?
Oh, this team's very determined. Not only do they want to do it for each other as players and coaches, but our community. Our community supports softball so well. If you ever been to a game at Chaffee, it's unbelievable how they circle the fences all the way through the outfield up both sides. So we've got great support. We'd like to do it for ourselves, obviously, but we'd also like to do it for all those that come before us, and the last couple of years' teams, the players still come back and support us. The grandparents come back and support us. So, we are focused, and we'd like to be able to try to get back, obviously, and that's the key is getting there. You can't win it unless you get there. So if we get there, we feel like we have a good chance.
All right, so on Tuesday, you'll take on Kelly at 22-10 record. They are very solid. A very good team, and you faced them earlier this year. You got a victory, 12-3 over Kelly. But you and I both know that this is going to be a different game. That was earlier on in the season. And look, you've had some success against the Kelly Hawks in the past. 5 straight winning streak against them as well. But this is going to be a different animal. How important is it, number one, to find a way to get some early runs, get out ahead, and just make sure that the team can settle down a little bit?
Well, that's always nice if you can get out to a lead early. Our last 2 regular season games this year, we got behind 2-0 right away, so it was nice to see us battle back. But that is obviously a key when you're dealing with teenagers. It'd be nice to get a great start. But Kelly's a little different makeup than the first time we played them this year. Their defense has been lock solid here as of late. I think last week they lost to Notre Dame 2-0, and they had a great game against Jackson and only lost 4-1. So their defense has been outstanding. We're going to have great approaches at the plate, and hopefully, like you said, we can get out and get ahead and help settle everybody down.
All right. So if you can win that game on Tuesday, it'd be a week from today that you'd be playing in the quarterfinals. Do we know, if you'd have a chance to host by chance again, or you'd be for sure going on the road if you can get past Kelly?
Well, whoever wins our district, us or Kelly, will be able to host this year because we went on the road last year to Ellsbury.
Okay.
So it's set up that whoever wins this game on Tuesday would be able to host on Saturday.
Very good. Awesome stuff. Brian, good luck on Tuesday. Get this team ready to go, and we're excited for what you can do, and we'll love to see you guys get back to state.
Well, thank you very much for having us.
All right. Brian Horrell of the Chaffee softball team. Appreciate him for joining us here on the SEMO Scramble. We're going to take a break. When we come back, did you see what happened last night at Dodger Stadium? Shohei Ohtani, a night that will go forever in the record books on what he was able to accomplish. Stay with us. SEMO Scramble continues on next. Welcome back. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. And hey, it is a football game, homecoming day at SEMO and at Houck. And, well, we're calling an audible. We originally was going to have Brady on at 9:45, but he's got another commitment coming up. So, hey, we're going to have him on right now. Brady Barke is here in studio. How about that? Brady, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. Thanks for having me. I was glad I walked by at the right time.
That's right. So we got him in here. We're going to talk to him real quick. So we'll do the best we can. But again, homecoming, obviously the weather playing a part. We just heard the weather update there. There's some chance for some bad weather here this evening, but moved up the start time, kickoff at noon, and hopefully we can get this game in without too much trouble. But how excited are you for homecoming, all the festivities that come along with it, and a big football game today?
Yeah, it's so much fun to have people, back, welcome back so many people. Of course, Dr. Hodson's inauguration adds just an extra, bit of special feel to it for it being his first homecoming. And so, I'm hopeful that moving it up gives us a little better window to be able to have some decent weather, good fan experience, be able to get the game in. Worst thing we wanted, was to have lightning delays and be stuck out here for 12 hours trying to get a game in. And so this gives us our best chance, and hopefully we'll benefit from some good weather early on.
Yes, SEMO got the win last year, 38-27 over EIU as they come to town. Look, unfortunately, the football team's been plagued with injuries, Brady, but I want to ask you just your thoughts on how they've been able to fight through adversity, with the job that Coach Tuke has done, and how they're doing this year. I mean, obviously a big win last week. Your thoughts on SEMO and the football program and how they can go the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think you're right. We've been plagued with a lot of injuries. I think maybe 10 starters from the start of the year were out last week. And, the good news is that some of those guys I think will have a chance to get back as we go through. And so not necessarily all season-ending injuries, but, there's a lot of talent in that locker room and, but a lot of new faces. I think we put 40 new guys on the roster this year, and the transfer portal does that now to you. And so, it's something that, to me, I think I look for us to continue to get better week to week, give ourselves a chance. We had the stumble early with Martin, so we don't have a huge margin of error. But, I think if you can build it here over the next few weeks, give yourself a chance. Of course, we know we got to take care of business this week, and then Tennessee Tech will be a big
Absolutely.
test at their place. But, it's all within reach if you can kind of take it 1 week at a time and start to get guys healthy. And so I still feel pretty good about where we're at.
Brady Barke, the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics, joining us here. Give us an update, too, on, the stadium updates there at Houck, just kind of where that's going and, kind of what the future looks like with the stadium. Obviously, Phase 1 has been complete now for a little while, and beautiful upgrades to Houck, and we're expecting more and more to come.
Yeah, the first phase was awesome. I think, really well received. I'm really excited about the second phase of it. It's probably about a 50,000 square foot facility that'll 6 levels that will have locker rooms, meeting spaces, offices, ticket office. All of our administrative offices will be able to relocate over there. Game day functions for functioning press box, and then the top level with some premium spaces for game day. But then also, we're really hoping for it to be an event space. And then a new sports medicine facility, and we're trying to, work through some partnerships too that maybe we can enhance some of the services that our student athletes and general students will receive on campus too. So, the plan is to have construction documents for that done here by the end of the year. And, I think there's a really good chance that come the early part of 26, we may be able to go out to bid with that and
Awesome.
Hopefully get the construction process underway. We know there's a funding gap we've got to figure out, and so we're now in the process of sitting down with people and talking about ways that they can invest in it and be able to be a part of that vision. And so I'm excited about where it's at, and I hope that we can get it started here in early 26 because it's probably a 2-year construction, so we're probably talking 28 before we'd see it fully completed. But once you get shovels in the ground, man, everybody feels differently about where the project's going.
Speaking of vision, obviously news that came out, this year with Tennessee Tech and now Little Rock leaving the OVC conference to join the United Athletic Conference. That maybe changes things a little bit with the stability of the OVC. Is there any worry with SEMO Athletics with that stability and what the future might be going forward? Have you guys had discussions about what should the future look like with SEMO?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime there's movement that creates, I think some uncertainty and some instability. The Little Rock news didn't come as a surprise to me. I think that's something that, had maybe been building some momentum for a little while. I think from my perspective, I'm not doing my job if I'm not looking at what the landscape is and is there potentially a better place for us or something that we would need to consider. But that being said, I mean, the OVC makes a ton of sense for us for a lot of reasons. Obviously it's the only home we've known, and so all of our rivalries were traditionally built into the OVC. Geographically, we sit at the center of that, and so from a just economy standpoint with travel and all of that, it makes a lot of sense, provided it's stable and that there's a vision for growth in the future. And so, we're watching that really closely. And, obviously a new president, Dr. Hodson, and I have had a lot of conversations about where it is and where it's headed and ensuring that we're in the right place. But, there's a lot of stuff that probably still needs to be answered and figured out to make sure that long term, is going to be the best place, for us. And so it's too early to say. I think even if I got to put all my cards on the table, which, obviously I don't, I'm not sure that I could say one way or another about, hey, 3 years from now, what is the OVC going to look like? And is that going to be the right spot, or is there going to be a different place to be or something like that? But I think for now, my focus is trying to make sure that, we can be the best version of ourselves in the OVC that we can be. But if circumstances warrant that we need to find a different home, similar to what a couple of these others have done, that we're prepared to go and do that. And we know it would take a resource jump and there's some facilities things and that type of thing. So we need to always be prepared for that, because it's just the environment's too unstable, whether it's, somebody else in the OVC or whether it's a different move in a different league that then, causes this, ripple effect into other leagues. Every day you're going to open the news and figure out something that, just happened that's going to impact you in some other way. So we're always looking at it, but we haven't been actively trying to pursue, but just making sure that we position ourselves the best we can, that should that warrant it, that we're ready to.
I guess part of my question, too, would be how do you feel like the direction, the leadership, kind of the vision, how much have you talked with the OVC leadership with that and how that can be going forward? And obviously, the rumors are out there. Hey, SEMO, UT Martin could be the next two teams to leave. Who know? But at the same time, do you feel like even as a school administration that there needs to be some announcement made at some point just to help give some direction of those fans and boosters and things like that, to say, hey, this is where we're dug in, come support us, and this is what we're going to do going forward?
Yeah, I think when once we know exactly what that looks like, then I think absolutely. Right now, unfortunately, I think most of those conversations would be really similar in tone to what, I just said, and that, hey, we're making sure that we understand all of our options. I was just in Evansville this last earlier this week for a couple of days with the other ADs, and, we had some really robust conversations about the future of the league and what does it look like and what do we need to do to ensure that the people that are still in the league are going to stay in the league. Yeah. Right. And so it all centers around where are we going, and, how do we get there? And so I'm hopeful that that's the route that we can take, because I think, we've had a lot of success in this league. I think there's a lot more for us to have, and it makes sense for us for a lot of reasons. And so that's my hope, is that we can find a path forward there. But again, if that doesn't seem like that's what's there, then yeah, absolutely. I think, that's my job to make sure that we're ready to be able to do something different. And so I would say, to fans that are just curious, be patient in what really is a kind of a crazy, hectic environment. We're watching it. We're making sure that we're positioned the best we can. And, as that decision's made, we'll certainly make sure we keep people, updated.
Absolutely. Appreciate your candor and honesty there. Again, Brady Barke, the Vice President of Intercollegiate Athletics. One more question, I'll let you go, get you to Fawn real quick. Just kind of a preview. Just came out with SEMO basketball, the preseason kind of poll, that sort of thing with basketball for the boys and the girls. The men there sitting at second place at the preseason. Second year under Briley Palmer as well, and their era and what she's able to do. So just last thing I'll let you go, just give us an update on the SEMO basketball programs and the excitement around them and what maybe the men can do this year, and then again the second season under Briley Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, I think the expectations are going to be really high for the men. Obviously Brad is reigning coach of the year. You even maybe feel a little bit slighted with the fact that you win the regular season by 2 games a year ago, and you return 9 guys and you're picked second. And so that's one of those things that I think, on paper it doesn't mean anything, but expectations we know are to be able to win another championship, and I think he feels like they can do that. On the women's side, I think Briley has that same opinion in terms of, hey, don't count us out.
Sure.
But there's some extra motivation there that there wasn't a whole lot of, confidence that the rest of the league put in, her and what the program's going to look like in year 2. And, I think the roster's much improved. I think the staff that she's been able to put together, just high energy people that I think are going to get the most out of those student athletes. And I look for them to compete and any game within the league, I think, is going to be a battle for them. And I think they're going to play the right way, and it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully people get out and support them and see if we can get them rolling too.
Awesome. Brady, appreciate the time. Get you over to another interview. Hey, go throw out some candy to the parade, all right?
I'll see what I can do.
All right, thanks, Brady.
Appreciate it, Rusty.
That's Brady Barke here. Appreciate him. We're going to take a break, finish out the show next here at the SEMO Scramble. Welcome back. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN. Thanks for joining us this morning. And, hey, do want to give a shout-out to all of our sponsors, including Hudson Chiropractic. They've been proud sponsors of the SEMO Scramble for such a long time now. I want to give a shout-out to them. They've, again, go check them out. I know personally Seth Hudson has helped me out at different times there at Hudson Chiropractic. If you're dealing with any issue, whether it be, muscle, whether it be, again, just kind of some aches and pains and things of that nature, go check them out. They can help you, and have them take a look. They're affordable, they're cheap, and they'll work with you. They've done a good job working with me. So, again, go check out Hudson Chiropractic. They're off Mount Auburn. Give them a try, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed. If you're wanting to support the SEMO Scramble, reach out to me, reach out to the station, our sales staff as well. Would love to have others join us on the SEMO Scramble and to see what that can do for you as a business as well. So, again, reach out as well if you want to support the program. All right. Brady Barke, appreciate him for joining us. That was some good stuff. I wish I kind of had a little bit more time. He had to go do an interview. You listen to him right now on KZIM with Fawn Reagan. She's on there talking to Brady. They're at the parade. It's right there in front of us. They're on Broadway. It's going on. I'm right next to it. But again, he's on the air there. So appreciate him. You got to talk to him in studio. Pretty cool. So again, switching times around here and there. That's okay. We worked it out. But Brady with us and some good information. Again, I wanted to ask him about the standing of the OVC because I think it's important. Because there has been rumors that with Little Rock leaving, Tennessee Tech leaving, okay, that really changes the stability of the conference. Who could leave next? Maybe Lindenwood, maybe UT Martin, maybe SEMO. I mean, those are the two teams really, UT Martin and SEMO. They've been thrown around as names. They could be leaving next. So I wanted to ask him, I had to ask him, about, hey, what's going on with that? What's the update there? And he talks about, look, I think he was very candid, he honest with us, and appreciate that. For talking to us. And look, he said basically right now that's kind of the plan, to stick with the OVC, and we obviously, I've been frustrated at times with the OVC leadership. I think they're going to have to prove something to me and prove something to SEMO and other teams of the conference that they are going to do a better job of adding and making sure that teams are staying put and incentivizing in some way that this can be a strong conference. And look, I think on the field action, this is a better option for SEMO because I think they can compete year in and year out and be right there towards the top of the conference. In a conference like the OVC, it'd be a lot tougher if you had to move like to the UAC and things like that and to other conferences. Obviously, the financial obligations. He mentioned the economy as far as the travel and things of that nature. But I asked about the stadium upgrades. Could be a couple of years before that happens. Need more funding for that. That all goes hand in hand. So, again, interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. But hopefully, again, SEMO can figure things out and make the decision in the best interest of the university. So, playing a big game, EIU today. Love to see them get a win. A second game for Johnny Weber under center at quarterback. I want to see the defense step up big. I want to see the defense make some plays, get some big takeaways. They came home with a season-high 3 takeaways against Tennessee State. I think you're going to need to do something similar like that again. And how about the running game? Cole Rubel has stepped up and turned into a guy, kind of their leading runner, along with Brandon Epton. Those two tandem has kind of stepped in together to be a good. And then again, some of their wide receivers. I mean, Donnie Cheers and has been really good for them. Can that continue with that kind of mix with Weber and Cheers and some of the wide receiver group? Can they take another step here today and open up the playbook a little bit more? So we'll see if the Red Hawks can get it done. Homecoming. We'll see if the weather can hold off as well. A big loss last night. Did you see that? Miami and Louisville. The number 2 ranked team in the country, Miami, lost to Louisville. Now they're a pretty good team, 5-1. But Carson Beck, he was the Heisman favorite. Not anymore. 4 picks last night. I'm sorry, but he was awful. He was awful last night, Carson Beck. And that is an eye-opening. Look, they're going to still be in the mix there for the playoff, but that is a bad loss for Miami. They're going to be falling, and we'll see Louisville ranked after this week. Big game, 6:45 tonight on SEC Network. Mizzou at Auburn, their first road game of the year at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn on the brink of maybe firing their coach. If they lose against Mizzou, that could definitely happen after the game. Mizzou, can they get the victory and bounce back from a tough game from Alabama? Notre Dame and USC, I'm interested there. I think Notre Dame should win, but that could be a big game. And then Tennessee-Alabama. Can Tennessee find a way to win? Can Alabama continue their winning ways? That'll be a fun game as well, 6:30 tonight on ABC. What else we got? Ole Miss and Georgia. That'll be a good one to kind of help decide who's kind of one of the leaders in the pack there, again, of the SEC at 2:30. Michigan State and Indiana. How about Indiana, what they've been able to accomplish this year? Oklahoma at South Carolina. Can John Mateer and company bounce back there? Then LSU Vanderbilt. So there are some good games this week in college football. We'll keep an eye on that. How about in the NHL? Boy, it's been a rough couple of games. Rough game last game, I guess I should say, on Wednesday against the Blackhawks. 8-3, they lost. They've had some clunkers at home, unfortunately, this year. Now they take on the Dallas Stars tonight at 6 p.m. The Blues get back. Logan Mailloux will not be in the starting lineup. He'll be in the press box. He's had a tough go of it. We've talked about Mailloux. We had on Lou Korak of NHL.com last week talking about him, and I think that he talked about the fans are going to like him at some point, that he's going to be a good player, but he's just going through a rough stretch right now. But, boy, you want to see Benner, Hofer, those two guys be better in the next couple. Again, this is a playoff team, one of the better teams in the NHL, and the Dallas Stars. And the Blues looking to find a way to get back on the winning way here tonight. That'll be fun. You can listen to it here on KGIR, SEMO ESPN, 1220, 93.5. So check that out tonight. You can hear it right here on SEMO ESPN. All right, final thing, Major League Baseball. We will start in Seattle Okay, series tied at 2, a big swing game in the series, and Toronto was up. They were leading 2-1. They don't lose whenever they have the lead late in games. Well, big 2-0 pitch, bottom of the 8th, Little on the mound, the lefty against the switch hitter, and Cal Raleigh, the home run king in the AL, potentially MVP this year. Listen in to what he was able to do last night, courtesy of Fox.
In this series. Here's a high fly ball, deep left field. Did he get enough? He did! Big dipper! Biggest swing! Game 5 tied!
That place was electric. Wow, Seattle was rocking after that home run. Great call from Joe Davis, by the way. So that was a huge home run. Tied the game. Tied the game last night, 2-2, and it set up this a little bit later in the inning. Bases loaded, and already with a home run earlier, the solo shot was Eugenio Suarez. But boy, you talk about the Seattle rocking. I think the people around the area thought there was an earthquake after what happened. Listen into this, once again, the call from Joe Davis.
Another 2-2. It's another fastball. It's driven the other way. It's got a chance. It's a grand slam.
Wow. Eugenio Suarez for the Seattle Mariners. That got them the victory last night, and that series is a fun one. One of those two teams is going to win the American League. We already know who won the National League. Dodgers win last night with a final score 5-1 over the Brewers. They sweep the series 4-0, and what's being called as the greatest single game in postseason history by a player, Shohei Ohtani. What a night that he had. We'll get into that here. Let's listen in to some of the highlight reel from Brian Anderson and the TNT crew as well. How about this? Shohei Ohtani, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts on the mound, 3 for 3 with 3 jacks at the plate.
This series. As Churio strikes out in LCS. In game 4 of the LCS, and there goes Ohtani. Shohei lighting up the highlights already. And a swing and a miss. Ohtani deals for the Brewers. And a swing and a miss. Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani! Whoa. Is it a swing? It is. Ohtani, chance to come right back on the mound. Strikeouts through 5 innings. 1 and 2 on Terrain. And a swing and a miss. Ohtani, did he? Ohtani! Ohtani has done it again!
My goodness. Solo home run to start the game, Shohei Ohtani. A big home run later that, I don't know, may have went to the moon. I think it might have exited the stadium. I mean, absolute missile to right center. And then an Oppo left center field home run late in the game was another solo shot. 3 for 3 last night was Shohei with the 3 home runs. And again, 6 innings, only gave up a couple of hits, had 10 strikeouts last night. Unbelievable. I mean, look at the Dodgers. Blake Snell, Yamamoto. You have Tyler Glasnow and Shohei Ohtani. Can you think of a better 4 rotation than those 4 guys? I mean, who's going to beat the Dodgers? I don't know, man. I mean, look, I grew up not liking the Yankees because, look, playing they call it, paycheck baseball, right? And, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the Dodgers either. Not a fan. because, look, listen to this. The Dodgers 2025 tax payroll. The tax payroll is estimated to come in at $417 million, 75 million more than any other major league team. That's including the Mets. And they'll owe a tax bill of around $169 million, meaning their total tax for 2025 will come in somewhere around $586 million. That includes a $36.7 million tax relief due to deferrals. That we're talking about taxes, folks, coming around $586 million. What the Dodgers are doing and what they're able to do is just crazy. Now, to their credit, look, they develop, they're able to go out and get those guys, and they play well. They have good organization, good coaches, and everything from top to bottom. But my goodness, what they were able to do, impressive. But again, Seattle or Toronto, we'll see who will face off against the Dodgers, but they've already punched their ticket to the World Series, the National League champions for second straight year. Dodgers trying to repeat. That's going to be fun. Boy, Major League Playoffs have been great this year, hasn't it? It's been fun playoffs, but would love to see either Seattle or Toronto find a way to get it done, but we'll see what happens. But folks, hope you enjoyed the show this morning. It was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Good talks with, again, O.J. Turner, Saxony. First home game, that was fun talking to him, getting his thoughts on the atmosphere there. Brian Horrell previewing districts, big game on Tuesday against Kelly. And then we saw also Brady Barke coming in to talk to us and talking about SEMO and their homecoming day, important. And then what are they going to do in the OVC? So a lot of things to get to today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I do want to mention one last thing. It was the Stoddard County Athletic Association tournament last night for volleyball. Dexter winning over Advance 2-0 for the JV championship, but it was Advance in Bell City in the varsity championship. Bell City got Advance earlier this year. Advance 3-0, getting the victory in straight sets against the Bell City Cubs. Again, I've mentioned it before. That's going to be a very fun district in Class 1 with Advance, Bell City, and Leopold. But Advance winning another conference tournament championship there. They get it done for volleyball against Bell City. So congrats to the Advance Hornets, my alma mater. Good victory for them. All right, we're going to send it back to regular programming. Thanks for joining us. Thanks so much. Hope you've enjoyed it today. Make sure and check out the podcast page as well on SEMOESPN.com. Rusty Hendricks saying so long. Be safe. Take care. Try to find a way to stay dry here today. And let's go Red Hawks. Let's get a dub here on Homecoming.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride and the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts from the Boot Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and SEMOESPN.com.